Many years ago, Swami Kriyananda coined a phrase that has stayed with me and provided sort of material for meditation, you might say, for many, many years. He said, people are more important than things. And I thought about that. And initially, as I sort of adjusted my awareness to how real did I actually think that was, or how relevant did I actually think that was, I I remembered as a child that I used to do this little mental exercise. I thought to myself, okay, supposing I was the last person on earth, supposing the apocalypse came, you know, the bomb went off, whatever scenario you want to construe. But in my scenario, I thought in my visualization, it was just suddenly there are no more people. Suddenly I could essentially go anywhere. I could go to any car lot, I could go to any store, I could basically go anywhere, do anything. And and I would spin out these various little scenarios along the way in my efforts to think, how would I survive? Would I have any fun? What could I do that I hadn't ever done before? Blah, blah, blah. How long would it last? How long would because I'd have to find gas for the cars and the electricity would sooner or later die. And, there are all sorts of implications to that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the visualization, the ultimate conclusion is it wouldn't really be that much fun to live on this planet if there were no other people around. It would sort of lose something. As kids in conversation or in sort of common parlance, sometimes the phrase would come up, well, you're not king of the world, or, you know, um, I want to own the whole world, the whole world is mine type of thing. And, so, I mean, just suppose, what if the whole world was your little plaything, your own toy to do with as you choose? What then? Would you suddenly somehow be happier for that fact? It, people are more important than things doesn't just, this is the interesting thing, and it's taken years of kind of slower, um, mastication, you might say, chewing on this particular thought and the implications of it, because they're quite profound, especially for someone who is trying to lead anything, trying to work cooperatively with other people. You realize that it extends into subtler realms. It's people are more important than projects. People are more important than the passing difficulties, the passing bad news, the passing triumphs and successes. Those are all fine and well too, but the people are still more important. The energy that we put into the people, the um, the spiritual energy, you could say, although in a sense there isn't really energy that isn't spiritual. There are just different octaves of it. Some of them are much more binding, much more materially related. But basically, what he was saying is look to the parts of life that involve giving, that involve serving, that involve sharing something that involves other people in a selfless way. Selfless meaning that it's not about who gave it. We used to do a little fun thing with the Sunday school kids at different times over the years. One Sunday they would be given the assignment to go home and during the week to do something really sweet for someone, really beautiful, very loving, very caring, very something that would be very much appreciated, but do it in such a way that nobody could ever know who did it. Nobody could ever figure out. No one could ever attach it personally to them. And and then, of course, they had to come back and share whatever it was, or even if they didn't share what it was, share what did it do. because when we serve in that way, there's a beautiful energy that comes through us, and it's highly uplifting. It releases or it relaxes the sense of I am so personally important. Now, this is not to say, there's a line in the Festival of Light that we do every Sunday that says pain is the fruit of self-love, whereas joy is the fruit of love for God. This could easily be misconstrued to make us think that we shouldn't love ourselves. But of course we should. It's just that we should love God even more. We should love the highest potential or the highest octave of our own human nature as a reflection of God's presence, or as the potential that we have in God or with God. And in that way, we don't have this binding sense of being so important or of being attached to the projects that we're doing, being attached. There's a beautiful affirmation that Swami wrote that I'll just paraphrase one part of it. I leave behind me both my failures and successes. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. That may actually be the exact affirmation. But the idea being, so supposing it's a new year, supposing it's January 1st, and supposing the previous year was a spectacular year, a world record shattering year, we still have to leave it behind. We still have to go on and do something more and better, not necessarily better in that particular way, but just to offer something deeper. There's always going to be a new level that we can achieve and aspire to. And similarly, what if it was a disaster? What if it was a horrible year? We lost people we loved, we failed dramatically in some amazing way. We still have to leave that behind also. Put it away and start again right now. Start again today. So people are more important than things just means give to the people, and not so much we worship the stuff in our lives. The car, the house, all these different things. It's like they become so supremely important. And then I look at people, and I myself have made a study of this sort of thing. People who live in small homes or who have no particular home at all, who live out of a backpack, and just their life is very simple and free. And I remember those kinds of experiences, not that I ever sort of made a religion out of that, but several times in my life I've moved across an ocean with suitcases to live, not just to go on a vacation, but actually to live. I mean, I also remember traveling for weeks and weeks just with hand luggage. And now this is pre-911, so, we could carry other things in the suitcase than we are allowed to now. So it was a little more easily doable, but still it was so freeing. I mean, there were times when just the sheer removal of all the stuff that gets kind of attached to us, that we sort of start to feel like we're schlepping all the stuff of our lives with us all the time, and that sense of freedom is tremendously joyful and peaceful and just heavenly. So meditate on this particular thought. People are more important than things. We have to learn to give energy to that. And ultimately, what we're really doing is we're giving energy to the presence of God that is within those people. We're serving God in those people. That is the highest octave of that statement.